Sam's the woman with a heart of gold, helping mothers through the pain untold. When CPS came and took their dreams, Sam's there to mend those shattered seams. She's the light in the darkest hour, guiding moms with gentle power. Every tear, she feels it too, healing hearts, seeing them through. Leave our kids alone, you're breaking hearts. Moms need their children, don't tear them apart. Sam's out there fighting every day for a home where love will always stay. Trauma lingers, cut so deep. Sam's the one who helps them sleep, with a hand to hold and words to say. She brings hope to a weary day. In a small town where the whispers start, Sam's the shield for every breaking heart. Through broken dreams and endless nights, she stands tall and she shines her light. Leave our kids alone, you're breaking hearts. Moms need their children, don't tear them apart. Sam's out there fighting every day for a home where love will always stay. In a small town where the whispers start, Sam's a shield for every breaking heart. Through broken dreams and endless nights, she stands tall and she shines her light.
What's up, everybody? Good evening. And yes, she does. I don't even have words to say right now. I'm so excited for this to happen. I've been after Sam for a long time to come out and do this and do a show on this channel, and she's finally committed to doing that, and it's just awesome to have her here. We couldn't be happier than to have Sam here. And I can tell by the presence of all you guys that you too have been anticipating this. So, I mean, there's not really much more I can say about what Sam is and what she's about than what you guys already know. So with that being said, I will bring Sam out right now. And here she is, Miss Sam. How we doing?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Sam.
You're doing good, Pat. Thank you.
So how we doing?
We're doing the Hill of Sam show.
Yes, I'm excited about this. I've been only waiting for like 2 years, you know.
It has been 2 years, but I am committed now.
Yes.
So I'm Sam,
Well,
and my rights were terminated, my parental rights, August 2022, exactly 3 years ago. And almost immediately, God placed it on my heart to share my story. It wasn't something I wanted to do. And, you know, you don't want to tell the world your most embarrassing, traumatizing story. God put it on my heart, though. So a few months later, I overcame the fear and I did it. And It led me to TikTok, which has now led me here. So I'm happy to be here.
I mean, you are almost legend status on TikTok. You know that, right?
My ego loves it,
But
but
Sam,
I was one of the first few moms to start speaking out about it, and I see more moms every day, and it just warms my heart.
well, those moms come out because you're pressuring them to come out, and you give them a safe spot to go to. I mean, long before you coming out, like there wasn't a lot of places for moms to hang up their hat, I guess, and give themselves a place to talk and vent out. This whole thing is very hard, and I know you have a guest back there that's been waiting, but this thing's hard. The stigma of this alone is just very terrible, and you are changing that. You're making it okay for these women to, like you said it right there, like the most embarrassing thing in your life. Well, you know what? No, it's not. You didn't. In most of these cases, none of us did these things. None of us did that. We need to turn that around and be like, and empower us and let us come out. And because of you, there's a lot more people out there that are doing that, Sam.
Thank you. And my guest today is very empowering. Ashley has
All right.
been through it, and she's
Yeah, your guest. Do you want me to play a little bit of a video here for you, real
just
quick?
a short little bit. I'm sure
Sure.
she's ready
All
to get
right.
started.
Let's see. Well, the clock is yours. All right. So here's a little bit of the video here.
Can we bring?
I just had it, of course. Got it.
And you can bring her out whenever you're ready.
Oh shoot. All right. Hold on a minute. There we go. Am I crazy?
Hey, Ashley.
Hi, Sam.
Thank you for waiting.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem.
I know you probably got the kiddos. Are they asleep in bed already?
Yes.
Okay, good. We're going to show a
Oh,
little clip of your video that really touched my heart, and then we'll get started.
all right.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm gonna get out of here, guys. You guys have a good show. I'll be right backstage if you need me, but I'm gonna put this video on for you guys. And anything you need, you just yell, Sam.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And the state of Florida wouldn't do this. I'm living proof and say thank you to the ones who comment and offer love and prayers and just checking on me. I'm on day 87 of a wrongful removal, and sometimes it's easier for me to be silent than it is for me to go back and forth with people because I'm already fighting for my life. And I say that so respectfully. Like, losing my kids felt like I lost my soul, I lost my existence. Um, and I'm already hanging on by a thread. The last thing I need is negativity and judgment, and I just want to be surrounded in love, and I want to be surrounded in peace. And it's so easy for people to get on social media and say, "Oh, this didn't happen," or "Caseworkers don't falsify reports," and the state of Florida wouldn't do this. I'm living proof that the caseworkers do falsify documents. I'm living proof that the state of Florida's Child Protective Services is corrupt. I'm living proof that things are happening to me and my children that are against the law, that should have never been allowed to happen. Like, all you have to do is take the time, read the Florida statute, read chapter 39, and come back to my story. and then you tell me that this was right and that as a mother I should be without my kids. I will always be open to respect anybody's opinion. I will always listen. That doesn't mean I have to agree with you. It's just a respect thing. So that's all I ask in return. If I'm openly sharing my story with you, it's just a respect thing. Just listen. Um, it's been 87 days. I'm fighting like hell to get my kids back, and mentally, this is insanity. This is me holding on by a thread. And the only reason why I'm still in the game 87 days later is because I keep reminding myself of God's love. God has saved my life 3 times. I'm 33 years old, and 3 times my life has been saved. In 2022, at 27 weeks pregnant, I had to have an emergency C-section to deliver my twins, and they called a code blue on me and said that it was from preeclampsia, and I went in cardiac arrest. The preeclampsia was so bad. God saved me. I had an experience that I can't explain to anybody. But in that moment of them telling me that a code blue was called on me, I can recall everything that happened in that hospital room. And I can recall the chest compressions. I can recall when they were sticking me with the IVs. I can recall this man standing over me, holding my hand, and I was begging him that I was ready to go as long as he could save my twins. And this man told me that he was going to save all of us, that he was not going to let any of us die. And when I came back, there was no man in this room. There was a woman doctor. I can't explain that. But all I can tell you is I've seen God's love. I've felt God's love. I know the power of God's love. And I've always been an advocate for my faith, that God didn't bring me this far to leave me now. God didn't spare my life for me to just throw in the towel and give up. I know they say that God gives his strongest soldiers the battle. And sometimes I don't feel like I'm qualified. But obviously God sees something in me that I have yet to see in myself. And people ask, well, how do you keep your faith through this? You lost your kids, you're losing everything, and you still believe there's a God. Because it's not always God that does bad. When you are a threat, when you are a powerhouse, the devil is always going to send a distraction your way. The devil's always going to make you want to question your faith. The devil couldn't get to me because my faith in God is so strong. So the devil took the next best thing to me, which is my children. My children are being used as pawns in this. That's it. The minute I was able to accept that, it helped me get through these last 87 days. It has helped me to say, this is so much bigger than me. So I'm doing everything I can. As of September 23rd, I was placed into a case plan. I am following that case plan to a T. Whatever these people want me to do, I'm willing to do it. If they told me to donate a kidney at this point, I would do it. Because I'm a mother before I'm anything on this earth. And anybody who truly knows me knows I am one hell of a mother. I may be whatever to someone else. But one thing I've never been is a negligent mother. One thing I've never been is a bad mother. And I say that with so much grace and just being humble about it, because I'm at war with myself when I say that, because I'm like, well, a good mother wouldn't have lost her kids. A good mother wouldn't be in this situation. But the truth is, this can happen to anybody. This can really happen to anybody. So while you're so busy judging me and saying, no, this can't happen, or people don't do this, guess what? This is my reality. I am a good person, and I don't have my kids. I'm a good mother. In the last 87 days, my children have had so many hospital stays, so many doctor's appointments. My son was just at the emergency room yesterday. My kids are always sick. But yet, I'm being called a negligent mother. I'm a good mom. I am a great mother. And the state of Florida has dismantled my whole foundation. I wasn't able to come up with the $700 I needed to save my home. So I am a homeowner. I do own my mobile home, but I rent the land that the mobile home sits on. I was not able to pay for the land. So as of tomorrow, an eviction will be filed. I've never in my life had an eviction. I'm 33 years old. I've never faced an eviction. I'm going through things I've never had to experience, and it's all because the state of Florida stepped into my life on a false allegation. Not because I deserved it, not because I'm a bad person, not because I did anything. Because other people's actions in my life got me to where I am right now. I'm being penalized for something that I didn't do. That's hard to explain. So it is easier for me to be quiet sometimes and just cry. Behind the scenes, I'm not okay. I cry. I get on this camera and I try to be strong. I don't want people to see me as weak because I've been through a lot. I've been through so much. But I can tell you, I wouldn't wish this on anybody. This is the hardest thing I've ever been through in my whole life. I would never wish this on anybody. So if you have your babies, love them. I know it gets hard. I know it gets stressful. But please don't take those moments for granted when they're coloring on the wall and they're all over the place and they're bouncing on your furniture and they're yelling for no reason at all. And you just want a moment of peace. Don't take it for granted. You are going to miss every moment of that. I would do anything. I'm sitting in my kids' room right now and I would do anything. Just to know that they were safe with me, just to be able to see them run around. Like, I'm so jealous of people that have their kids. I seen a lady on the bus today that got on the bus and she had 5 babies with her, and I just wanted to scoop them up and hug them. It's so hard for me to be around other people's kids because I don't have mine. So please don't take it for granted. Go kiss your babies and tell them that you love them because at any point in time you can be in my shoes. So I know it's easy to judge. I know it's easy to judge. But not all people that have DCF and CPS cases are bad people. Some of us are just put in bad situations. We're not all bad people. We're not all abusers. We don't neglect our kids. So, this is my story. Day 87, and I'm fighting for my kids.
Hopefully came across my FYP on TikTok last fall, and I connected with her. She was a mom with a CPS story. She's from the same state as I am. But it was October 2024 that she made this video, and it impacted me. I was telling her last night, I can't remember what I had for dinner last night, but I remember this video. I remember her words and her genuineness and her pain in this video and her strength. And I knew right where to go when I decided to have her as a first guest. And so here she is. Thank you for being here.
I am honored to be here. I didn't know you was gonna try to give me an ugly cry live, but I am honored to be a part of your show.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I noticed in the video we just watched, the first thing you said was gratitude and for the people who have checked on you. And that makes me want to share that a support system during this time is so important. When I was going through my case, I was all alone, all alone. It was me against the world, it felt like. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
Did you have a support? It sounds like you had a support system.
I had a support system, and they were amazing. And I even met people along the way, you being one of those people. it gave me an outlet of coming in afraid, coming in not knowing what I was up against, and meeting other people and seeing that it was going to be okay. I had to remind myself of that, and I'm thankful. Like now, looking back now, I don't feel like I thought I would ever hear myself say I'm thankful, but I am, because I know the odds that I was up against, and I know the odds that many families are up against. And my story is not everybody's story. And I wish it could be that way. I wish we all could have the type of outcome that I was given. But seeing this system, it's not set up that way. It's not set up to win.
I'm learning more and more every day how true that is. Yes.
Right.
The truth is coming to light.
Right. It definitely is.
And my faith, and which we'll get to in a few minutes, has been the biggest part of me getting through this. And God just gives me this comfort that it's all going to make sense one day. So I loved hearing you say that just now, that you never thought to say that, but that's how I feel with making sense of all the trauma. You mentioned positivity and peace. That's in the beginning of my healing journey. That was super important. I like made my living space the most positive, cheerful place that one could imagine. People would walk in my apartment and be like, "Wow, it's such a positive vibe in here." I was like, "Yep, it had to be." You know, I was grieving the loss of my children.
Right.
I knew that I had to get through this for them, and so we for the show, I think we've said it. You did reunify recently. You were referring to it. You had a happy ending.
Yes. Yes.
How is that going?
God, like, I just want to thank God. Like, I want to scream my love for God in this moment, because I can't put it into words. I actually reunified on February 14th, Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day for me was like the best day ever. It was validation. It was me, proving that I was the mother before I was anything else in this world. And that's always been, anybody who talks to me and knows me will tell you, I stand by that. I say I'm a mom before I'm anything else. I may be a bad daughter or a bad wife or a bad sister. I never felt like I was a bad mother. And maybe that's just me, like the big headedness in me. I always felt like I was a good mom. And reunification is now like trying to put together pieces of a puzzle. It's trying to create consistency again for my children. It's creating that safe zone for them. My kids were traumatized, and I beat myself up for it every day. That's the guilt that I'm going to carry for the rest of my life, even though I feel like it wasn't my fault. As a mother, I deal with that guilt. I carry that, and it's hard to accept it that, my babies, my son, his name's Caden. He's currently 3. He'll be 4 next month on the 16th. And I have 3-year-old twins, Charisma and Cream. So we have 3 3-year-olds in my home. I had my twins 27 weeks before. So if anybody's trying to do the math, that's the math. But even when they came home, they were so afraid. Mommy is so-and-so coming to take me. They were scared. I couldn't leave their side. Their dad couldn't leave their side. It was that constant fear. So everyone harps on, yay, you're reunified with your kids. But behind the scenes, it's like, no, it's not happy, because now my family's traumatized. Like, for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be looking over my shoulder, or if someone knocks on my door, I'm afraid. And I don't think people acknowledge the fact that all it takes is one false report. Like, I literally was explaining that today, that you can go online on the abuse hotline and file a report, and they'll show up at your door, and you would never even know that was all it took, is one simple form filled out with a lie, and it really can ruin your life. And I think that's why it was so important for me to start speaking up, because I wanted to shed light on that they feel like everyone with a CPS case is a negligent parent, and it's not. There are good people that are stuck in this system, and I hate it so much because it took me $17,000 in debt now that I never had to fight for my kids, and I'm literally screaming. I'm like, it's a motive behind it. You get good parents and they know that you'll fight. They know you're gonna put up a fight. They get more funding for you putting up that fight because you're gonna complete every service they throw at you. You're gonna make sure your kids complete them services. And if I was a bad mom, I wouldn't do any of that. I wouldn't have paid the money for an attorney. I wouldn't have showed up for the case plan. I wouldn't have cared about reunification. So it wouldn't have been any gain for them taking my children. I have 2 twins that are on SSI. They get more money for children with medical needs. So the money is the motive. If anybody asks me, I tell them all the time, I'm like, the money is the motive. Money talks to them. I didn't bring my kids in this world to have a price tag on their head. I didn't. I would have never had kids if I knew that's the way the world was. So it sucks. It sucks to know that this is a type of system. This system is supposed to protect our children, and it doesn't. It doesn't protect our children. My kids, you heard in my video, they went through a lot of abuse. They went through a lot of neglect. A lot of things were swept under the rug. And I'm just now starting to speak up about it. Even my 3-year-old little girl, there were things done that I know as a mom, and she's only 3, and they try to brush it under the rug. I live with that guilt every day. These are the type of people they're placing our children with, and it's hard. It's really hard when you know you're a good parent and your kids would have been safe with you, but they say they're not. They painted me as a monster. I've literally brainwashed in my head every day, you're a violent, impulsive person, in parentheses. And I had to remind myself that that's the picture the state painted of me, someone who never had a criminal record, somebody who was smart as all get out, still smart, never used drugs and alcohol. They labeled me as a drug user, said that I've had substance abuse issues, codependency since a teenager. And I'm 34 years old. And I'm like, why are we discussing my teens? Even if that was true, I'm grown. But it wasn't true. And my husband, they used the man that had the same name as him, different date of birth. They used his criminal record in my case, labeled this man as my husband. I don't know this man. But I'm like, do you know how that looked in front of a judge for a man that has a felony criminal record of selling fentanyl in front of a school, selling marijuana? And this is the man you're labeling as my husband in my case. You're saying that's my children's father.
Say sorry or anything, or take accountability for that. That's awful.
No accountability. Didn't care. Swept it under the rug.
I'm glad you're speaking out. I wanted to ask you, when you reunified, do they finally change? Do they finally become a positive, supportive source in your life? Did they help you with that?
You get harassed. So you get harassed. That's the word I'm going to use. So to give you a prime example of what I mean by that, my daughter Charisma was diagnosed last year with asthma while she was in the care of the state because they were so negligent with her and wasn't getting her proper medical care like she needed. So her breathing just started getting worse and worse. She was diagnosed with asthma. So recently on Saturday, my daughter was hospitalized. She ended up getting a cold, and the cold just was attacking her respiratory, which led her into a full-blown asthma attack. So, of course, as any parent, we take her to the hospital. They admit her. She's in the hospital from Saturday until Monday. So when Monday comes, the hospital says, hey, we're going to call you tomorrow just to follow up, make sure she's okay. It's our transition of care. Okay, great. The hospital did. They called the very next day. On top of them calling, the agency who was over my case, they called. And they said, we want to prevent her from going to the hospital. you can't prevent my daughter from going to the hospital when she has asthma. It's not one of those things you can prevent. And it's not your business that my daughter went to the hospital, because I didn't sign a release of information for you to know that my daughter went to the hospital. So I stood on that. I stood my ground, and I refused to answer any questions. And that was my right as a mother. I did not have to answer them. I made sure that they reiterated multiple times they knew my case was closed. So if you know my case is closed, why are you calling me? And so I was very proud of myself for not only standing up for myself, but standing up for my daughter. She's a minor. You shouldn't have access to any of her medical records, any of her medical portals. I was very upset about it, but I handled it with grace, because now I'm not the same mom I was last year. I know how to handle situations now. I know how to approach things. And for that, I'm grateful that I've grown. It sucks that I had to grow this way, but I'm so thankful for the knowledge that I have now, because like I said, when you are in this system, you're prepared. You know how to handle things. And if I would have knew what I knew now last year, I'm pretty sure my story would have been a lot different. If I would have knew my rights, if I would have knew what I could do and what I couldn't do. But I was like anybody else. I didn't know.
Same for me. And in the very beginning, very close to the beginning of my open case, I could sense that these caseworkers and the investigator were not right, and that they were corrupt. But I relied on my lawyer. So I still didn't. That didn't cue me to learn my rights. I totally 100% depended on my lawyer. I thought they had a moral and ethical duty to defend me, and they don't. So
Right.
I definitely wish I would have learned my rights. And that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. You mentioned the state statutes, the chapter on dependency. I think that's super important for any parent, whatever state they're in, to Google their state statutes, whichever chapter dependency is, and read the whole thing, the whole chapter. Do you
Right.
agree?
Yes, I do. Again, just a quick Google search. And I say that so much now, and people get offended when I'm like, Google's your best friend.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the most respectful way, because that's where you're going to get your information. That's where you're going to get your state laws. That's where you're going to get your statistics. Like anything you need is going to be right there at the forefront for you. And that's how you win. You start educating yourself on the laws and your rights, and that's really how you win. And I wish more people would just study it and understand, because they're going to tell you, no, that's not right. They're going to tell you, we're not doing anything wrong. But when you have that law written in front of you and it's in black and white, they can't change those laws. We're protected by those laws. But if you don't know them, then how are you going to know that you have that protection? So I do feel like more families should take the time. It doesn't matter what state you're in. Every state has those laws in place.
Right.
And I feel like it's so important just to educate yourself on what are your rights. And I even went as far as looking at how does, if I had a permanency hearing or a judicial review, for instance, coming up, I would Google what does this hearing look like? What am I walking into?
No clue. I would go to court. What was going on? So your adjudication hearing, your permanency hearing, all of that is so important to know why you're in court, what it's for, how the script should go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's so important. And I like I said, I didn't have any legal background before this started. I'm in school now to be a paralegal. I'm almost finished with school. I didn't have a passion to be a paralegal. That was not you would have never thought that was something I was going to study. And
I can see doing that.
Yeah, meeting the state, it's like game on. You picked the right mom, and now I'm going to show you. So my fight doesn't end just because my kids were reunified. My fight continues because I want to prevent, that's their word, prevent, right? So I want to prevent other families from having to go through what I went through, even if it's a simple, don't answer your door, make them get a court order. the simple things that people don't know. They knock at your door and you feel obligated to answer because you think that's the law. You have to answer and you don't. So just shedding more light that, you know, there are laws set in place to protect families.
There's 3 directions I want to go, 3 things I want to say at one time. Let's go back to your children now. You said, I know you had said to me, you're rebuilding routine, safety, and trust.
Yes.
Good job, Mom.
It's learning now to create an environment of consistency for my children because they were bounced around. I remember hearing in my case them saying that my son Kareem, he's a twin, the twin boy. I remember being told that my son was bounced around to 5 different foster homes before he was placed with his sister. And they claimed that they bounced him around because he was bad. You ripped him from his twin sister, you ripped him from his family, and then you label my son as bad. And I live with that every day. And I will never understand what he went through mentally. I will never understand how that felt getting ripped from his twin. But every day I wake up trying to create a safe environment. I make sure that they hug each other. I make sure that they say they like each other because that's their favorite thing. I don't like you. And I make sure that, you know, they love on each other and that they know they're safe and they will always be safe and they will always be together. Like that was the hardest thing. You have kids that are growing up together and you separate all 3 of them. You put them in 3 separate homes and you fabricate the documents that they were placed together. You fabricate it and they weren't placed together and you try to cover it up. And then when you realize like, hey, mom's on to us, oh, let's put them together, but you still separated them from Caden. So now Caden's going through his own trauma and emotions because he doesn't understand. He's being ripped from his siblings. And then I have 2 older kids. I have teenagers. And I ended up placing them with their biological dad temporarily before the state even stepped in. And they lied about my older 2. Even their dad has lied on me in court saying, oh no, the state placed the kids. And I'm like, here's the notarized letter. I placed my kids with you. And
I did that too.
Right.
I have 2 older sons I placed with my parents as soon as it started to look like it was going bad.
Right. And it's hard because after that happened, DCF comes back and so they took my kids July 20th of 2024. When August came around, they said, well, you can go pick up your older 2 on an emergency pickup order and bring them home. And I said, why would I want half of my kids back? It's all of them or none of them in my eyes. Like I want all of my kids. The older 2, they've always been with me. I've always been a mom. So how do you look at a mother and tell her she can have half of her kids back?
That is so common.
Right. And
you can't even make it make sense either.
It sucks so bad.
How are you safe for one child but not the other?
Right, exactly. So that was my constant battle. And I let my older 2 stay with their dad. And I went through everything you can think of with that case of fighting to prove like I'm a good mom. And, you know, I had the best interests of my teenagers at heart. And now I'm being drugged through a court system again. And now it's family court. So it's like you go from one court to another court.
With the dad you are?
Yeah, so my ex-husband.
I'm sorry.
Well, we actually just settled in mediation on Wednesday. So we did settle. And we have joint custody of the kids. And my kids live 45 minutes away from me. So they're in school. My oldest son is in high school. He made the basketball team. So as a mom, I'm happy. Like I've always been the type of person where I've told people, I want to see you happy, even if your happiness doesn't include me. That's how my heart is. And I want my kids to just know they have a mom. You don't have to live with me, but my door is open. I'm here and I'm ready to show up. I told my kids, you can call me anytime you want to. Mom's on the way. No questions asked. I love my kids, all of them. And it doesn't change the fact that I'm a mom. So I'm learning to heal, but it does hurt. It honestly hurts because before this, I had all my kids, and I felt like I had a real purpose. And now I question my worth every day. I try to, find reasons to smile and be happy, but on the inside, I'm still traumatized. I've been diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, depression. Like, I have nightmares. I didn't have any of this stuff prior to this case. And now I'm like trying to figure out, like, who am I? Who am I now? And it doesn't get easier. So it is great for reunification, but it's still hard. Like, the nightmare doesn't go away. It's like, okay, case closed, but the trauma's still there. The trauma lingers.
The destruction of CPS.
Right.
Yeah. That's what it is. There's no good that they bring.
Right.
I just remembered the comment. I'm new at this, y'all. I'm sorry. There's people in the comments that I'm so grateful are here. I know I saw Chris and Miss Debbie. Hi. John's here. Hello. Let me scroll through these real quick, and then I wanted to get to our last and most important topic. How God got us through. So faith, the importance of faith in a healing journey.
So faith is very important to me. I know you personally watch all my videos, and I throw God in there some way, shape, or form. I'm very strong in my faith, and I'm grounded in it. And, I don't ever try to push my faith on anyone. I'm not going to tell you to believe in God just because I said so, but I'm living proof of God's love. And I believe that wholeheartedly. 3 times God has saved my life. And I remember feeling God's love in those moments. And most recently, I shared the journey of, going at 27 weeks, going into labor with my twins. And they called a code blue on me, and I thought I was going to die in that moment. And I felt God's presence in that moment. So I knew when this situation happened that God did not want me to give up. I knew that God was going to be with me every step of the way to give me strength. And I knew that eventually I would be able to breathe again. I just had to trust God. I had to trust that it wasn't going to be on my timing, that God was going to work everything out. And, they say the storm lasted longer than I thought. That's how I feel. It lasted way longer than I expected it to. But I was able to handle it. And by being able to stay grounded and anchored in that storm with God, it brought my children home. And it's proof of God's promise. So, I can't speak for everybody on, what your faith is or how you pray or what you say to God. All I can tell you is God knows you before you even open your mouth. God already knows what you're thinking. And when you feel alone in this, when you feel like nobody's listening, God is listening. There was so many days I sat in the same room I'm in right now, and I cried. I screamed. I questioned God. And that's one of the things your faith teaches you. You shouldn't question God. But I did. And guess what? God still loved me at the end of the day. God still blessed me, even though I questioned him.
I thought about being mad at him. I thought about it.
Right.
And you mentioned it, and people said it to me too. Well, aren't you mad at God for taking your kids? And I never was. I never was.
Right. And it's weird because and at the end of, like, when my case was at the end, I literally, like, 2 weeks before we found out that my kids were going to come home, like before they did the MDT staffing hearing, I kept having these dreams. And in these dreams, God kept telling me, your kids are coming home in February, be still. And I never understood, but I kept hearing it over and over, be still, because I was filled with rage. Like, I was mad. I wanted to knock stuff over. I was upset. Like, I didn't want to go to church anymore. I didn't want to believe in the word anymore, but I kept hearing that faint whisper of be still.
So did I. So
And
did I.
it was so weird because when we went to the MDT staffing at the end of January, they say your kids are coming home in February. And I was like, get out of here, God. Like, like I said, I can't speak for everybody. I can only share my story in hopes that people hear my story and they say, you know what, there is a God. And whatever she believes in, I want to believe in it too.
Right.
I hope that's what people get out of it. But
He does show up and show out, you know. He
Right.
does take his toughest soldiers through the hardest battles. And
Right.
when you're at your bottom and, you know, desperate and devastated, he will lift you up. He really will.
Right. And
So.
even in that video, you heard me talk about I was going to lose my home and I didn't know what I was going to do. God showed up. Like, this is the home that I was going to lose behind me. I'm in it. Like, my bills, right? My bills got paid for September in advance. They're already paid. I already paid them. Like, I got my dream job. Like, I wanted to be off the phone and I finally found a non-phone job. Like, I'm living proof of God's love. I just need people to listen like there is a God. And so definitely I just want to tell people, like, hold on, like this storm doesn't last forever. And I even tell you that, and I know you've been fighting for years now. And I keep telling you, I know it doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't. And it's easier said than done. It's easier for me to just be like, oh, it's gonna happen. I don't know when, but I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And you can't give up, because the moment you give up, that's your breakthrough. So keep pushing. And to anybody listening who's in this, please don't give up. Please do not let these people win. Don't let them break you. Don't let them tell you who you are. You know who you are. You're powerful, and that's why they're attacking, because you have something in you. God has stowed something in you, and the enemy doesn't like it. It's confusing the enemy. So you have to keep going. So Sam, I pray you continue sharing your videos, giving a platform for moms like me. Again, I didn't have experience with this. This is the first time I've ever went live talking about my story. So thank you for that opportunity.
You're welcome.
Grateful. I'm just grateful that I've met people like you along the way that reassure me I have a voice and it's okay to use it. And even if nobody's listening, I could be the only person in the room and I'm still going to tell my truth. I hope many other families will follow suit. I hope that we can really dismantle the system. I really do.
I do too. That's why I'm on board with Darren here. He's going to do it. I know he is. But thank you so much for being here. I adore you.
Thank you.
I agree to anyone listening who's going through this. Don't give up. CPS will brainwash you and attack you and kick you when you're down. And you just have to remember you are what's best for your child. You really are. And your kids love you and they need you. So don't ever listen to CPS and the caseworkers. And hopefully that will all change soon. I like the word dismantled. Okay, so we're going to end the show. I guess we'll end it with our last 10 seconds of which we just kind of did that, but just for our closing, in 10 seconds, tell a parent going through this something that would be beneficial.
So it's hard, but nothing worth having comes easy. Reunification is beautiful. I can reassure you it is beautiful. Healing takes time and your fears will still linger, but faith will keep you moving forward. Please don't give up. Please. If you can't do it for you, please do it for your children. You are the best interest of your children. Please keep fighting.
And my last 10 seconds, self-care sounds so selfish, but it's not. You have to take care of you for your children. And so I wish so much love and peace and victory to every parent out there. And so thank you, Ashley. I got my first show over with. Now we can see where this goes.
You did it! I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
But God, you's the creator, He surely knows. So please explain the journey, let's go. You must have faith, that's all. God will not let you fall. For in the end there's a lesson. So keep the faith, keep on pressing. I think about you 100 times a day. It's no way to keep the pain away. I'm so scared of forgetting your smile. So I look at pictures of my child. It breaks my heart we lost her so young. We missed all the tender times, can't be redone. Please God, stop the pain, this is no fun. I know that God has the plan. I don't understand who I am. I do know I have the faith to pray to God from any place. Please God, make this pain end. It's a nightmare that should have never been. My faith in you is guiding my way. Excuse me, God, I have to say, give me back my baby, I'm not playing around. She's a piece of my life. I'll do anything for you now.
Child who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stop the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scrape their knees. Now just imagine how they mightest feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calm. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.
Neighbor's kids last week. Here's what I wish she knew beforehand. She had no clue what her rights were and completely panicked. That's exactly what you can't do. The difference between keeping your kids and losing them comes down to being prepared. There's this book, Stay Calm, CPS is Coming, that breaks down everything you need to know. Education isn't just power, it's protection. Grab it on Amazon or check cpsbreakingnews.com. Don't wait until it's your door they're knocking on.
In a quiet home in Philly, where the apples used to grow, a grandma held her collie tight in a love that only glows. With a spoon of sweet applesauce, she fed her with such care. But the hands of cold injustice came and tore them from their lair. Where is baby Collie? Where is baby Collie? Where is baby Collie? What did they do to you today? What did they do when they took you away on that cruel October day, October 7th, 2022? That was the last time I saw you. a disguise. Took you from your grandma's arms beneath those autumn skies. 1,000 days have vanished, 25,000 hours gone. Each tickle the clock a wound as we wonder where you've gone. Where is baby Carly? Where is baby Carly? Where is baby Carly? What did they do to you today? What did they do when they took you away? You've been gone 1,000 days, 25,000 hours. You've been gone. What did they do today? They threw you down the stairs, they burned your beautiful hair, infested with their cruelty, no kindness anywhere. Sadistic hearts took pleasure in the pain they made you bear. They caged you, chained you, tried to steal your name so fair. Where is baby Carly? Where is baby Carly? Where is baby Carly? What did they do to you today? What did they do when they took you away? They tore your world apart, broke your tender heart on that dark October day, October 7, 2022.